Hi everybody! Finally we are back
Yeah.
again on our new updates of our video here.
Can you tell the background is different?
We are finally here at our Palawan house and it's 100% done. But we have so much to tell you.
So much to tell you. We've been so busy. We came here on New Year's Eve of 2025, and then now we're in 2026. And yeah, we're both now here putting all of our energy into finishing the project. Aini was doing most of the on-site stuff through 2025, and I just wanted to say I have a lot of respect for my wife doing so much work, because even though both of us are here and we have some of her family members helping us, it was a huge amount of pressure just on both of us, even both of us like focusing like 100% on this project. But Aini was doing most of the true project management work in 2025, so I have to say thank you.
Yes.
For suffering.
You're welcome. But if you want to hire me, you are welcome
Yeah,
to hire me.
That's a real project manager there.
I can't do it. It's too much. It stressed me out.
I'm not sure we can survive.
I don't think I can survive for the next one.
We just wanted to give you a quick update. We think we'll call this finishing part one, meaning that we're coming in, we've basically finished everything in the last 2 months, but there's all these little things that are cropping up, and we'll tell you the process that we went through. So in January, we came here and we were like, I was expecting to be more like, oh, you know, there's a little something small to do, like maybe a little bit of painting or a little bit of sanding or something. But actually, we spent the entire January. It looked like a pretty decent job site
the
here.
whole entire January through February, basically.
It was a huge. It was a big job site, basically, with workers everywhere. So we were staying here, you know, because we didn't want to have that additional expense that we described before about having to pay for another Airbnb. It's thousands of dollars here. So
basically we were camping when we came in, and we don't have any beds, and I mean we have a mattresses.
Yeah, mattresses.
Yeah, we don't have a. What is it called? The bed
frame or anything. So we were like on the floor, but again, you're like literally saving like $3,000 in, you know, Airbnb expense. So we really wanted to push it to get in here. And my surprise was that there was so much rework to be done. So when we were doing our punch list, I really thought it was just going to be a couple of items, you know, a couple of items here and there. But it was really like the work for painting and for skim coating and for like we would check to see if something was level. So you know those levels that they have with a bubble inside, like checking things are plumb and level. I mean, we would find all these errors and we were like, how come this is not level? There's like where the wall meets the floor. A lot of times the two teams didn't meet properly, so you have like a little gap in there that you definitely need to have filled. But basically, there's so many items, way more than I thought that we were going to need to finish that. Right? That's what Aini was surprised about as well. And so the job site was way more full of people, like walking around throughout the day. So really, you had like a whole job site.
It's
here.
basically every day. And then our kids, like, they didn't even want to come out from their room because it's like at the job site.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get out because you don't want to see people. Like, for them, it's annoying that there's a lot of people here, like every day. But for us, we don't want to spend more money again to just spend for Airbnb and staying at the different places. So basically we were just kind of like tolerated everything to be able to finish everything, because we are trying to finish this and to get it done by now.
We were ahead of schedule, and then we kind of, because of this rework, where they're actually saying, hey, when you're done with this punch list, we are taking off. So there's kind of like that pressure of like, oh my goodness, what would we do with this and that if they weren't here? You have to kind of get out your own tools and start working on it, right? So that's how I was thinking about it. Like, if we don't get it done with them right now during this punch list time, which was like January mostly and a bit of February, we would have to do it ourselves. So what we found basically was that our standards, I don't think our standards are out of control high, but I think it's more like in the US or maybe in Europe, if you just take a random house and you go and you put a level on the kitchen cabinet or something, or you put a plumb line on something that should go straight down. It shouldn't be like kind of wibbly wobbly out, right? You wouldn't expect that. So I don't think that's too much to expect, but I think some people don't really have a high standard on that. So I think a lot of this is on us, that we want it to be nice, kind of like the house quality that we have in the US. And we had a pretty decent team. As you know, we've been talking about our team, the architect who was serving as our project manager, essentially in a design build, don't laugh, and then the engineer who was kind of I guess he was like the general oversight of that construction work, and then a foreman who was the more specific, maybe tactical oversight. And I think one of the big problems was that at least on our team, you can see what happens on your team, but the foreman, I thought, should be primary on like looking over people's shoulders, and they go, hey, that's not level, or hey, that's not measured properly. Why is this too far from this side? And it was not in the middle, for example, something like that. And so there were a lot of things like that. We would come in and go like, wow, you would think that, he had something right in the middle, and what happened here? But that supervision, it seemed like, at least to our quality standards, was not there, so that you end up at the end of your job doing a punch list. It's fairly significant punch list. It wasn't like, I was expecting to be like, oh yeah, look, do a little extra paint here, and this light's not working, can you fix that up or whatever? So what happened was, during that month, the team members would continue through their work. So you'd go and tell them, oh, can you fix X, Y, and Z because it's not in the right spot or whatever. They would continue their work, and that error would repeat itself. So it might be opposite on the other side. You might find it like, oh, it's not off on this side, it's off on the other side now. So we started to discover like, wow, the team, at least this is our team, I don't know what you're going to find, but it's not like they didn't have that step saying like, okay, before I start, I'm going to put these lines down to make sure it's absolutely perfectly whatever measured and level and all that kind of thing, and then they would check it at the end before they move on. They're just like doing it, and then they do their best, they do maybe a decent job, and they'll just take off, and maybe it wouldn't be to our quality standards, or what I consider it to be like normal construction standards. So we found ourselves getting more and more and more involved. We would say, so for the plumbing, for example, which was like a lot of the punch list stuff was plumbing stuff. I had to actually go and start learning in January and February, which is why we didn't make updates. I'm sitting there watching YouTube videos and asking AI. Remember, I'm asking 3 different AIs, not one. One can definitely mislead you, but if you get your ChatGPT up, your Copilot, and your Gemini up, and you ask them the same question, how do you put a toilet, for example, that's not 12 inches standard from the wall, how do you fix that? And there's some approach called a flange that we were able to employ there, but I wouldn't have known that, and I don't know if they kind of wouldn't have known that, but it's like, that's an item that I had to go and take primary on, and so it's like, it started to get to the point where we were like supervising. We were the foreman of this project in the last month.
Well, it's kind of like when I was there the whole entire, basically 9 months or 10 months. So I was doing the whole entire managing this project, the whole entire construction, while they were building that whole entire house. So I feel bad. I was stressed, everything, and I'm handling the whole entire project, and without him, and then I'm just like asking for the help from him, and while our architect, not literally like I would say like maybe 50%, is that 50% of help from the architect or something? I don't know.
Some part, we were getting
some
parts
part,
of help,
but not completely help, And then the engineer, yes, he is here all the time, but not checking all the team. How's the work? How's this thing? He's here every day, but it's like basically budgeting, and then looking for the inventory and all of that stuff. If they'll be able to order or have enough and all of that stuff. That's all his work here, and then he's not checking his team. The foreman that's the one that you have to watch and look carefully how they're doing with their people and all of that. Check carefully.
Right. It seems like that last check, it's the commonality. The common theme is before they leave, after they install a piece of whatever, they're not necessarily going to go, all right, does this make sense? Is this thing flat? Is the slope for drainage? Whatever, like last thing that you're going to or level. If it's level, if you need it level, or sloping, if you need the drainage, whatever, right? That last step, I think they're just going to move on and say, yeah, man, however I did this is how you're going to get it. That is the last key that we couldn't really tolerate. Because if you have a pool of water, if you've been traveling around the world and in the Philippines, sometimes you'll see like maybe a bathroom that's got like a pool of water somewhere it's not draining and it stays around for too long. That drive me crazy to have that kind of thing forever, right?
Yes,
so
that's for us.
We didn't let it go, but maybe you would let it go. So the less you worry about drainage and level and plumb and equal distant between this and that, the better off you're going to be with your sanity. But for us, we really wanted like the standards that we were accustomed to back home.
Yeah.
So as I said, we eventually got to the point where if we don't sit there and watch these people, they're not going to get it done. I'm literally when you come to your job site, get a nice level. I'm telling you right now, that is your best friend. So we would like literally sit there and go like, wait a minute, before you hammer this thing into the wall, we're going to check to see if that bubble's in the right spot. And then a lot of times they'll get the first two right.
Most of the time.
Yeah, and then the last one, if they got the first two right, you're like, these guys are on mission. These guys got it, no sweat. The last one, they'll put it not level. Yeah. So it's like a level of, I don't know, what is that? It's like very careful monitoring at every moment.
It's like babysitting them.
Yeah.
You know, that's the word, babysitting them. You have to watch them carefully, because if you let them go by themselves, they will say, okay, did you check it? And then they will say, yes, mom. But then unfortunately, they didn't check it. And then when you try to level it, it's like, no, not straight and not like this. So basically, you have to watch them 100% or babysit them. And that's all I can say.
And I've traveled all over, the world, basically. In Latin America, I've traveled in Asia, and so you see different countries and they're different. Now, I don't know if it's indicative of overall the Philippines, but when just for your own standards, you have to make it work for you. So if you see some places that, for example, the steps, the step is like a huge step for stairs is huge. The first one and the second one is a different size. I mean, for me, I would be like, I can't tolerate that for the next 100 years I'm going to be living here. So just be prepared. If you're more strict, you've got to put your own muscle into this. If you're thinking about doing it remotely, you will definitely come back to a job site that I think that is like, you would see things like that, like, man, I'm surprised these steps are like pretty much monster steps. The steps are like not standard size. So you have to go and say, AI, what is the standard rise and run of steps or whatever?
So doing it remotely, I don't think you want to do that, because it's a lot of surprises that you don't know everything.
Or maybe when you come back and you have like stairs that are like too big or too small or something like that, maybe you're okay with it. I don't know how, but the standards you would have probably a lot of surprises. So
yes, and you end up repeating a lot and spending a lot of money. You know how much we repeat this several times, especially me, with doing all of the railings and in all of the bathrooms. I did like the tiles for the bathroom. We did all the tiles for the whole entire bathrooms in this house. I did like twice, repeated it. And then all the grout, all the painting, many times. And all the railings, repeated. On the roof, we did it one time. So I don't recommend it doing that remotely. If you want to build a house, you need to be here. But completely, 100%.
But we know people.
If you don't want to be here, at least maybe have some of your wife or maybe a sister-in-law or your sister or your brother. Then you can do it as long as they know what you want it. I mean, to me, with my sister and brother-in-law, I could not even trust them, because if you want this particularly finish, they won't know, and you have to know it, and you have to tell them, and it's still you get it like incorrectly. So to me, if you want to build a house and worth for your money and your effort and time and everything, so you don't have to keep repeating it and tell them repeat it several times, you have to be here. You have to be here on a site.
Right. I keep thinking though, there are people that we know that their house is kind of like not the kind of quality that we would expect, but they don't seem to get up and complain about it every day.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it just depends on your quality.
Maybe it's just us.
But if you expect to go to a house like the one, if you're in the U.S. or Europe, and you walk into a new house and you're like, all right, man, everything looks pretty level. You know, all the electricity is working perfectly fine. All the things are where they should be. And if you want that kind of quality, I think that's kind of what we expected. So just be prepared to be here. Otherwise, when you walk in with your level, or you walk in and you take their stairs or whatever you're going to do, you might be surprised. And if you're cool with it, then like we know the people that are cool with it, they just live that way. And we're like, how do you live?
Yeah, if you're not particularly or very picky like us, then go ahead and build remotely yourself. You know, that's fine. I mean, it's not a problem. We just want to tell you, and we just want to warn you. That's what's going to happen if you are not here being on site.
Right.
So for us, because we want to have like a high quality, the same in US quality, basically, and we want like perfect, but not perfect that we didn't make it. They made the house. But anyway, we tried our best. But that's all they can do. That's all they can do.
I think the professionalism is kind of funny because you're working with people who have been in plumbing, or you've been in electricity for like a couple decades. So I feel like you can't say, they're useless or something like that. They have a lot of things to bring to the table. So it's like a delicate balancing act, because you get really upset if you're going for these quality standards that we're describing, but at the same time, you couldn't do it by yourself, right? You definitely need them to do it 80% of the way, and you're the last 20%. So I felt like you have to maintain a healthy respect for them as professionals. You can't just go in and say, you idiot, you don't know what you're doing, because they actually got your house 85% of the way there. It's just that the last 10% they didn't like level it or something.
You just have to train them and get used to what you really want. So like again, like what I said, it really depends on you. If you want to have like a very nice, well done, like US or something, then you have to be here. Or I mean, some people are not like us, very picky, but we are very picky.
We're picky. I guess we're picky. I don't know.
Yes.
But pansai is your new favorite word of the day. So pansai, I learned it because I repeat it constantly. Like, is it pansai or pansai check? Guys, hang on, stop your work, pansai check, to see if it's aligned or even, or if it's level or whatever, or plumb. I learned that because I repeated it thousands and thousands of times in January and February.
Yes, exactly.
So the next thing then, because we don't want to make this part one of our finishing, because we're not quite finished yet, but I want to continue then onto this thing called the occupancy permit. So the occupancy permit is definitely part of the work scope. I didn't realize it was a big deal. I thought they would come in and go, yeah, it's a house, stamp, you're out of here. Apparently, you need to get your electrical person who did your electrical. That person needs to make a professional drawing, like in CAD, like computer-aided design software. That professional drawing is printed out, and then some higher level engineer called a PEE in the Philippines just checks that, and they say, is everything looking good, and so forth. And then they'll take responsibility by signing and sealing that. And then it's like that is used as input to your occupancy permit. We had an extra step because our solar, for whatever reason, it's under a different professional engineer called a PECE, at least in our province. I was only following what's happening in Palawan. They said you need a PECE, a different type of higher level professional to draw the design in CAD software, print it out, sign and seal it. So we were working with these two different people, and we didn't realize how much work there was in that, and the fact that it was part of your electrician and your solar contractor's job to do that. So we were like, oh yeah, you're all done. We went and checked all of the electrical, for example. We checked all the lights. We're like, yeah, electrical all set to go. Bye, here's your final payment. Have a nice life. And then a week later, we're back saying like, hey, where's the electrical drawing? Hey, where's the sign and seal one? Well, that's part of his job, but we ended up making our payment to him too early. So I just wanted to warn you guys that the occupancy permit is this huge snag that can drag out for a long time, because especially if you've paid your electrical engineer and you've paid your solar person and everything's working great, you need them to come back and make all these drawings and all these approvals, and you made a mistake in the drawing. And if you've already paid them, guess how motivated they are to work with you and get it done. Slightly lower, because now they've moved on to the next house. They're thinking about some other picky client.
Yes, so gonna say that if you don't pay them the final payment, it's better that way.
They're not done. Electrical, solar, and I don't know if plumbing gets into this. I would probably factor plumbing into that. Ask somebody about plumbing because we haven't had problems with that with the occupancy.
Furniture, yeah, the same with the furniture, everything. Just
Yeah.
do not pay them.
And you're thinking of making a final payment because all the lights work and everything's cool. Don't pay them that last one. Just say, I'm holding off until I get my occupancy permit, and that will require their drawings and then all these higher level engineers that they may not be that, probably are not that higher level engineer. They look at it and they have to give feedback to the person who did your electrical or solar. They make some changes perhaps in the drawing or whatever. And then it's a long process, way longer. So that anyway, just when you're getting your quotes, just keep occupancy permit as a deliverable, a thing that they need to give you, just as much as solar panels and circuit breakers and all the stuff that you kind of comes to mind. I didn't realize that those drawings and those approvals are part of their work. So we paid our electrical guy and he's off to the next project, but now we're like, please help us with our occupancy permit. Don't be in that same situation. He's already paid and moving on. So it's like kind of like you're like more like Paki Usap, come and help us kind of deal.
That's what I was trying to tell you, that you don't pay for the final payment. Everything. All your contractors.
Yeah.
You know, not just electrical or plumbing.
Yeah.
Everything. Everybody.
Yeah. Well, one thing, like when we were doing our custom furniture, like we know people that are kind of loosely associated with the family, and so we're like, hey, we should get what's his name to come in and do our custom furniture. He does great custom furniture. And then we didn't really do the formality of like, okay, well, just before we get that from you, why don't we set up a little contract with the delivery date and the costs and everything. We were kind of like a little bit loosey-goosey about that.
Well, like relax about that.
Yeah.
And then after a while, we had a problem with him.
Yeah, problems like that.
Exactly. We had to, I mean, he didn't deliver all of the furniture that we wanna have.
Yeah.
For example, with the bed frames, and it's 8 side tables.
Yeah.
So those he kept saying that, I will deliver it, ma'am, like next week. And then after that, he basically
there was one more thing too, right? Didn't he say this was like tricky for us because we kind of loosely know this guy, right, through family members.
Yeah.
So we had that kind of underlying trust. We're not supposed to trust anybody. What do we do?
Exactly. You're not trusting anybody.
We use
Don't trust anybody.
Word.
Warning sign.
No
warning
trust.
sign. Do not trust anybody here.
Yeah.
Or not just here. In everywhere.
Yeah. So he said to us, he said, oh yeah, I'm trying to do all this work for you guys, but I'm running out of money, so make me the additional progress payment before he had delivered. And so he was sort of asking us to make an additional progress payment before the progress had been done. And so we said, well, we're kind of in a hurry to get this done. Just give him another couple $100 US dollars. Yeah. And then you're kind of marching towards full payment, right? But you haven't received anything because of this excuse and because of this prohibited word trust. And so we ended up paying him, and he's dragging everything out. And we're really grateful that we got what we got from him because the stuff is pretty high quality. But in the end, he basically just trailed off into the sunset somewhere, and we never figured out what happened to our final.
Abandon us.
Yeah.
That's basically abandon us. I mean, he works really, really great with everything, the cabinets, everything, TV console, and then basically all the shelves and all of that basically, and in the cabinet closets and all of that stuff. But it's just that he's not the good person to hire or to work with. Yeah,
and so we had to go and like pay again to another furniture contractor to make us some lovely work, and he's pretty good too.
Yes.
So, but anyway, the thing is that we just said, you're probably maybe you're like this, maybe we're too relaxed, but because we had this situation I described, we didn't get like a delivery date and a price and written down like an actual quote, a formal quote. So we ended up having this problem. So just FYI, we always say, if you get the quote, make sure it has the delivery date written in the same document, because we also had another person who we said, here's the price, okay, negotiated price, without the delivery date. And then he said, like, he's dragging it out because, I gave you a good deal, that's why I'm dragging it out longer and longer. But we didn't know that was the agreement. If he had put 3 months delivery date.
Exactly. Well, I did actually order all of our furniture back then, like last July.
Yeah.
And until now, he kept saying that, Mom, I will deliver it next week. And then next week. And then you're waiting and waiting. And then until we don't have any bed frames. And then we're camping in our house. So basically, that's the story of this guy. So never trust people here, especially all contractors, and
Yeah.
and you, or else you end up like having a problem with them, and
And especially if they're, I don't know. Yeah, just gonna use that as general advice. I did want to tell the people in TV land one more thing, that about the, going back to that occupancy permit. Those drawings, we actually didn't know that the drawings for the occupancy permit were part of the scope of work for a solar contractor and a electrician and maybe a plumber too. But definitely ask about that, because those drawings, those electronic drawings that you do on a computer, and the responsible person who signs and seals it, the official engineer, they're exorbitantly expensive. Like it could be like $800 for one plan. So I wanted to make sure that they knew that if you don't get that as part of your agreement with those professionals, you're going to end up having to pay that. So be aware that it's ridiculously, I think it's ridiculously expensive for our province to charge $700 for, like, basically you're making a couple lines, you know, in a CAD drawing and saying, yeah, this is basically the correct breakers, you know, electrical breakers or whatever. And so I was shocked at the prices of those. So I wanted to tell everybody, make sure you see that they're paying for that. Your contractor will pay for that and take care of it before the final payment, just FYI.
Yep, exactly. So that's it. I think we are going to update again more soon.
Yeah.
It is because we are busy. We're trying to get this house done, and then we wanna basically open this for Airbnb once we are going back to US. So we are planning to go back soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, we are trying to get ready everything, like furnishing the house.
Yeah.
And I will show you the video after this. And actually, I mean, I do like our house here in Palawan, but it's a lot of
Suffering.
and
I think that's the word I'm looking for.
suffering. Overwhelming, suffering, stress, everything. Just mix it, everything you have. I mean, just be ready when you build a house. It's not easy. It's hard. We are happy that we did it. We did the house. We finished it.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any house blessings yet, but we are doing that soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll see you.
We'll see you in the last final installation after another.
Yes, and
hopefully.
another maybe update. You know, it took us a while to update you guys because we have been busy.
We're
So
crazy
hopefully you guys
busy.
understand it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, and looking forward to see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So this is our house now. It's all done. And it looks clean, everything here now. And this is the our outside gate. And we have plants. And this is what inside look like. Done with the landscaping. And there you go. Done. Everything is done. And this is the parking area. There. We still have to do some cleaning here. Some of them are still like not clean, but yeah. So this is what looks like of the pool. That's our swimming pool. That's the view of Honda Bay. When you see it here, you can see a little bit of a view of the Honda Bay. And that's the hot tub. And I'll go over there. And this is basically the view of our garden. There. And it's forgive about the mess, and we didn't clean up yet. So yeah, so that's the house, and this is our hot tub. Yeah, it looks really nice. and hot. That's pretty hot here, hot. And our shower area, and that's the garden of our junior room in this area. That's the view from here. There's the view. And then that's the kitchen. And then while you are washing dishes, you can see the beautiful view of Honda Bay. And I am going inside now. And still a mess. And this is our our dining table, and this is the living room area. It's still a mess, but yeah, we are trying to clean up everything and and then this is the another room here, junior room. Yeah, so that's junior room, not clean up well, so I'm not gonna bring you in that room. And our laundry room area, it's a mess, it's so, but yeah. And then our dirty kitchen, it's here. Dirty kitchen, it's here. Dirty kitchen. And kitchen, our kitchen. That's our kitchen, and look at the cabinets, looks good. Like what I said, if we don't have a problem with that guy, he would have, have a good business because he has a good cabinet quality work. But yeah, I don't recommend him, guys, to you. And so that's our kitchen look. And this is our dining area look. There. And we are going upstairs to the second floor. And we have, finally we have some painting. Yep. And this is what looks like. As you know, I like the chandelier, my beautiful chandelier. And we have a automatic curtains, but you know what, I cannot recommend to guys the getting automatic curtains. It is because it's breaking like constantly, so that's our mistake. We were just have gone like manually instead of automatic curtains. And this is our common bathroom. Sorry about the mess. So yeah, and we are going to master bedroom. This is the master bedroom. Master bedroom. Master bathroom. So we have some tape. It's because we don't want to have people take a shower here. It's because we just did a grout yesterday, and yeah, so that's what it looks like right now. Our master bathroom. Okay, and as you know, this is our second floor balcony. That's the second floor balcony. Second floor. And I am going to take you to the rooftop. So that's what the second floor looks like. And it did actually well with the tiles here. I You just have to babysit them and watch them every time they do the putting the tiles and everything. And right now I'm going to the rooftop. Hopefully everything will be clean and we are good to go for Airbnb. That's what looks like of our stairs from the rooftop. And there's the view. And there's downstairs. Dining table and our couch. Now let's go. Here is the sofa and the rooftop, and this is what it looks like now. And that's what the view looks like. The view of Honda Bay. So see that island right there? That's Cory Island. Cory Island. And then that one is Loli Island. Loli Island. And that one, I think that's a Snake Island, and I forgot what's behind. I think it's a Pandan Island. So that's what our view. And the view of the swimming pool from the rooftop. And the garden area. Okay, and let's go here on this side. When you go here, you have another view of the mountain. There's the view of the mountain. And we have our neighbor's house. So that's the mountain view. That's the view of Honda Bay. The water filtration area, it's here. Also, this is our solar room. This is like basically our storage room now because we don't have stuff to put some of our stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, see you guys. Hopefully you like it. Thanks for watching.